Thursday morning and welcome to Court TV. I'm Ted Rollins. Glad to have you along with us on a busy day. We're going to have more of that testimony from Jade Jenks out of California in a few minutes. But first, of course, we're starting with the breaking news out of Idaho. Bryan Kohberger arrived there late last night after being extradited from Pennsylvania, wearing a jacket over his orange jumpsuit. This is a new mugshot of Kohberger, released after his arrival there in Idaho. From the airport, Kohberger was moved to the county jail under heavy security, and that is where he is waking up this morning, expected to make an initial court appearance today. He'll be read his rights, hear the charges, and will also be appointed an attorney. Kohberger will also be face-to-face for the first time with the family members of these four victims. They are expected to attend. The attorney representing Kaylee Goncalves' family says they're ready for the tough road ahead.
I think they're relieved that someone's been arrested for the crime, and they're hopeful that the police and the authorities and the prosecutor, they have all the evidence needed for a conviction. Obviously, he's the father of the victim of murder, and he obviously wants to see the person in person and look him in the eyes and see letting him know that they're there and they're always going to be there and they're going to hold him responsible for his crimes.
We have teams in both Idaho and in Pennsylvania, where, of course, the defendant was. Chanley Painter in Moscow, Idaho, Julia Janae in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. They'll be bringing us live updates on the case throughout the day here at Court TV. And, of course, as soon as he enters that courtroom, we will take you there live. And we are also waiting for that charging affidavit to be released. Let's start with Julia Janae, who has a closer look at Bryan Kohberger's time living in Pennsylvania.
Idaho authorities and federal investigators say they had been watching Bryan Kohberger for days, and they tracked him cross-country from his school housing at Washington State University to this location, his parents' home inside of this private community in the Poconos Mountains in Pennsylvania. This is the hometown of this suspect in those murders. What they also found at this location was a white Hyundai Elantra, something that authorities had been having the country on the lookout for weeks. Handcuffed and dressed in a red jail uniform, Bryan Kohberger, the PhD student, made his first appearance as a defendant in a Pennsylvania courtroom. He was arrested at home with his parents on December 30th, wanted for the murders of Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho.
While I monitored the investigation into the horrific murders of the University of Idaho students, I did not imagine the investigation would lead to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania State Police were asked for their help in his capture after Kohberger was identified as a suspect.
In the early hours of Friday, December 30th, those warrants were executed at the location. Mr. Kohberger was taken into custody without incident.
This news of his arrest came as a shock to the small community near the Poconos.
I'm lost of words because this place is known to be like a nice place, like it's a tourist place. It's the Mount Poconos. I mean, to hear this, it's so real for me. To be honest with you, it feels like a dream at this point.
Not only is the area better known for its scenic mountain getaways, it's more than 2,500 miles from the crime scene. Bryan Kohberger waived his right to an extradition hearing inside of this courthouse in front of a judge and a packed courtroom that included his family. That waiver started the process for his transport back to Idaho to face those 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Idaho does not release their probable cause affidavit in support of their arrest warrant until after their defendant is returned to that state. But having read those documents and the sealed affidavits of probable cause, I definitely believe that one of the main reasons the defendant chose to waive extradition and hurry his return back to Idaho was the need to know what was in those documents.
Those documents are expected to reveal some of the evidence against Kohberger, including details about a white Hyundai Elantra the police say was in the vicinity of the victim's apartment around the time of the murders. Kohberger was driving a similar car when he was pulled over by Indiana police on December 15th. He was with his father on their way from Washington State back to their home in Pennsylvania. Kohberger was a graduate student at Washington State University in Pullman, the campus just minutes away from the apartment where the victims were slain.
Their young lives were ended far too soon. In law enforcement, we understand the best thing we can do for victims and their families is to follow every lead, collect every piece of evidence, and bring those responsible to justice.
Kohberger lived most of his life here in Pennsylvania. It's where he went to school and worked and received most of his degrees. Now it's the location of his highly publicized arrest. Reporting in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, Julia Janae, Court TV.
Our thanks to Julia. Joining us now in studio, trial attorney C.K. Hoffler is here. And in New York, it's Cannon Kearney. Good morning, Cannon. Good morning again, C.K. What are we thinking today is going? This is a huge day for everyone. The family members are going to see face-to-face this monster, alleged monster, that is accused of taking the lives of their loved ones. And we're going to all get a better feel for the case against him when that probable cause affidavit is made public. Cannon, what are you expecting to see in that affidavit? How much do authorities have to provide to basically justify this arrest?
Well, good morning, Ted and CK. Happy New Year. Basically, I believe from this evidence that we're going to see is probable cause, which is a fundamental American right for any defendant. So we need to see, did they get DNA samples that led them to the defendant? We need to see, did they have a proximity of him being in the area? Did they have any pings from his cell phone? Did another witness testify to say that they know that he had some type of interaction with the victims? All of these different things need to come out because we need to know exactly why it is they are going after the defendant, not just because he's a student that studies FBI interventions or FBI crimes. We need to know the hard facts for why it is that this gentleman specifically was arrested.
CK, what are you looking for in this document?
I think there's got to be really, really strong evidence tying him to these murders. This investigation has gone on, Ted, for quite some time. So the community there, the families are waiting with bated breath to find out what happened to their children. In fact, the country's been waiting to find this out. It's gone on for a long time. So for them to have someone extradited from Pennsylvania, to have this probable cause affidavit, for him to waive the extradition hearing, and to come to see what's in this, it's got to be very significant. It's got to be very meaty. It can't be sort of tangential where they just sort of generally link him. There's got to be strong evidence, witness statements, because if that's not the case, then my sense is that they're not going to have a strong case. So I have to believe, after all this time, this probable cause affidavit is very strong, it's solid, and it's going to make the case so the prosecutors can take it and hopefully get a conviction.
There's a gag order here, Cannon, but there seems to be a quiet confidence with authorities. If you just listen to them, anyone who's read this and references it, they have him in their mind. This is the guy. Does that mean his DNA at the murder scene and possibly even on maybe a victim, something that and is that what they need here?
Ted, I would hope so. As CK said, this needs to be very strong evidence. The DNA would be very strong evidence. At this time, I believe they said they actually were able to locate who the gentleman was by doing many different sources with the DNA that was found. So we don't know how that was done, but hopefully for this gentleman, for the victims, we will have that information today.
Security is very tight. You can see as he's being escorted, he's got people around him. There was a police escort to the jail, the county jail last night, CK, and in this courtroom, there's gonna be heavy, heavy security because you have 4 family members seeing him for the first, it's gonna be very emotional.
It's gonna be very emotional, Ted. I mean, this is the first time. Just think about how they've been waiting, these family members. So the first time that they're going to be able to see and look at him in the eye, at the person who they now believe has murdered their loved ones, their children. So I think it's going to be very emotional. There's going to be maximum security, not simply because of the families there, but because of the community. Everyone in that community, this is a small, tight-knit community. They want to know how this happened and how he was able to escape the authorities so quickly for such a long period of time. So I think their emotions are going to be high, a lot of security. The country and that community are just waiting to hear and to see what's in that probable cause affidavit.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that there'll be a change in behavior from the defendant if there indeed is what you two have both articulated needs to be in that probable cause document, hard evidence against him? Because right now he's telling mom and dad, oh, it's not me, it's, you know, and they released a statement through the lawyer. He's told his lawyer to tell everybody he's going back to Idaho to clear his name. He believes it's just the white Elantra. This kid's not dumb. He's Mr. Criminal Justice. Do you think you'll see a little bit of a change in stance from him if he says, oh, they have my DNA, they've got this, this, and this?
Well, Ted, at this point, he should be thinking that he needs to have all of the evidence in front of him before he can make any decision. Again, it's not where he was or who he was with, it's what they have in that document. So essentially, we need to know, he needs to know exactly what's in that document. So if you think that's going to change his behavior, I could see that. But again, at this point, we're all in waiting just to see what is in that affidavit.
He made a cross-country trip with his father in the white Elantra. Mm-hmm. Received a new license plate for that white Elantra after the murders, right after the murders, going from a Pennsylvania plate to a Washington state plate. And there's video now of that first stop that was made in Indiana. And if you look at it, he is, officer, what are you is this murder? Oh no, you were just too close to the truck in front of you. Watching this is so, you know, you see that if this guy's thinking, oh my gosh, they're gonna get me for the murders, I'm here with my dad, what must have been going through his mind, even though it was just a routine traffic stop, all of these little pieces now, going back, all of his movements are different, are they not? And we're gonna see people coming out of the woodwork, neighbors, students. We've already seen a student say, oh, he did act weird after the murder.
Right. Well, he's as cool as a cucumber when he's stopped by the police here. But we are thinking about what's going through his mind. But that probable cause affidavit, I suspect, has so much information. I agree with Xana on this. So much information. It's got to. Think of the stakes and what is at stake for law enforcement in that community. People have been saying, what is going on? Why don't we have a suspect? So I think we're going to see a change of behavior. The other thing I noticed, Ted, is that he doesn't appear to have private counsel representing him.
No.
That's very, very, very interesting. I read something into that. And the reason why I say that, his family lives in the Poconos. I'm not looking into their wallet, but presumably he would be able to afford private counsel to represent him. And we just haven't seen that, and that's very unusual, I would think, given the potential charges levied against him.
Yeah, you would have to, well, again, we don't know their financial situation.
Absolutely.
We don't know their relationship, but very, very good point. We'll see what happens. We're expecting him to make his first court appearance this morning. This will be an initial appearance. He's not going to enter a plea. He'll be read his rights. He'll be informed of the charges against him, and then there'll be a prelim set. We'll be there, and